Well, and let's talk about this book. I'm going to show this on YouTube. We're going to have a little clip on YouTube so people can see this beautiful book, To Dance with the Dakinis in Search of Self. So tell us a little bit about, yes, what started coming through, and then there was this, this motivation, this urge to write this book. What came through that started this process?
Well, I have the last many years. I mean, initially my organization was involved in peace dialogues, and we went all over Israel, Palestine, Iraq, Afghanistan. And then at a certain point, around 2008, we shifted to climate change and began to feel the urgency of talking about the earth. And I had written the book, The Untold Story of Sita, which goes back many millennia. And it showed that at that time, the consciousness was very different. We call it the Treta Yuga, a higher age, where there was harmony between man and the natural world, where you could interact with the natural world and felt a part of it, not separate. And then over the course of many millennia, we've become so separate from it that we don't even regard it as living. We can destroy species without another thought, really, destroy forests without a thought. And so we've gone to such an extreme of disassociation from nature that we're on the path to destruction. So this has been a theme with me for a long time now. And I often talk about because I work with a lot of young ecologists, you got to fall in love with the earth again. It's not just a matter of science. You got to fall in love with the earth. And I've had dreams of whales and other things. And so when I started having these memories of Tibet, and I found myself as a follower of Bon, which really surprised me, but didn't surprise me. Bon is the indigenous religion of Tibet, very nature-based. Like all the old religions, Shintoism is the same. The ancient Vedic religion also is very based on, the rivers are goddesses, the mountains, Lord Shiva. So I found myself torn between Buddhism, which was part of my heritage, and the Bon tradition. And of course, Tibetan Buddhism is an integration, which I discovered. I mean, I discovered so many things through the writing of this book. I discovered the history of Tibet. I came to understand much deeply the whole ethos and spirit of Tibet. But the integration, because they don't disregard the deities. When you think of Buddhism, especially Theravadan Buddhism, and what's become popular today, the whole mindful, the Vipassana, there's no discussion of the cosmic forces. It's about how to control your mind, really, which is part of it, part of the story, certainly. But Tibetan Buddhism, because of its Bon lineage, preserves that understanding of the cosmic forces and how the cosmic forces interact with us, both the forces of nature, the water, there were spirits in the water, in the trees, in the earth, in the air, and how they interact with us, and the cosmic forces that sort of maintain the balance and functions of the universe, which we call the deities, but they're the cosmic forces.
Well, and so what are Dakinis? To dance with the Dakinis, when you say that, what's the definition of that?
Well, the story is really of a young woman who's, and then an older woman through her life, who is searching. I mean, she then remembers her previous birth, and then we follow her into her next birth. And she's not particularly awakened, and yet she's searching, and has this teacher. And then when she remembers her past, this great woman being who comes to her, who is Dakini, and we recount her past history with the Dakini, where she wants to be with the Dakini. Who are Dakinis? Dakinis are sort of enlightened or celestial figures, mostly women figures, beings, who sometimes appear on Earth. And Dakini can be loosely used as a yogini, as a woman aspirant or a woman sage, but it also means these celestial figures who can appear on Earth for a period of time. And at the time that this was referring to, it was the time when the ice was melting. We've had another period not so long ago, 12,000 years ago, when the glaciers melted and made much more of Earth habitable for humans. So human population was able to expand. And that was a huge change in terms of an epoch for the human history. But you can see it as what made the ice change. Clearly, cosmic forces were involved. So I envision it as the Dakinis coming to dance on the ice to help to melt the ice through their love, so that the human population could have a more friendly environment to grow in. And so that's the story of this little girl who sees her mother, who's a Dakini, dancing on the ice to melt the ice and form rivers and lakes, because Tibet is a place of sacred lakes. Just like India is a place of the sacred rivers, Tibet is a place of the sacred lakes. And I didn't know that before. I mean, as I said, I remembered so much and learned so much. But the lakes, just like the rivers in India are feminine, the mountains are the masculine, the lakes in Tibet are considered the abode of the goddesses, and the surrounding mountains are the gods. So to dance with Dakinis is to evolve ourselves so we can be part of that world that helps shape the physical universe.